All right, Peter, thank you very much. As he just said, the man given the task of overseeing the $700 billion in TARP funds, Neel Kashkari, will testify to the House on the Treasury's efforts to prevent those funds from going to waste. Republican Congressman Issa of California is the ranking member of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform and joins me today with a little bit more of a look on what we can expect in today's hearing. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning, Alexis, and thank you for helping us focus on XBRL technology and, in fact, a way to stop calling these assets or loan instruments toxic just because we don't know what's in them.
It's a great point. We should tell our viewers that we're going to talk to somebody from XBRL technology in just a moment about what they're doing to actually track those TARP funds. But, Congressman, let me start with you. What is the purpose of today's hearing?
Well, the purpose is to find out why, after 2 administrations and roughly 6 months of calling these loan instruments toxic, we still seem to have a pushback on quickly implementing a common platform that would allow us to look into them, not just the government, but government, financial analysts, potentially even the public and investors, in a transparent way. Now, you hear a lot about transparency, but you have to design for transparency. Right now, every bank, every instrument, every document is potentially in a different format, which makes it impossible for an analyst to look at these thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of mortgages in a common way. And yet 40 countries, oddly enough, including China, have adopted XBRL, which is, when we say technology, think of it more as simply a regulatory agreement to show data in a common format. Once you do that, computers can easily compare apples and apples and analyze anything they want within these diverse loan packages.
And as I understand it, the effective date of this new rule, this new transition that as many as 500 of the largest publicly traded corporations will abide by begins or starts on April 13th. What will this do for future transparency? Why is this so crucial?
Well, it's a good start. Right now we're talking about the SEC, which under Chris Cox began the process, but all too slowly, of getting public companies to report. We need more than that. We need every bank instrument to be put into this format. As you know, everything that's done today is done on computers, so it's only a question of whether you line up columns of like information in an agreed format or not. But just the 500 top companies will allow one analyst at a keyboard to ask a series of questions comparing apples and apples to find out, in fact, whether documents that are said to be BB or A rated are in fact equal. And that's a huge advantage to independent transparency. You know, the goal is not to get the government to know what they bought alone. That's certainly important. But the idea is to get public confidence back. Well, when Kashkari can't tell us where $100 billion evaporated or what the assets he's bought are worth today, then it ripples into the public, and they say, well, if he can't tell, can we tell? And the answer today is no.
A great point. It seems like a fantastic approach here. We're going to talk about it a little bit further. One of the things I understand, though, in the report today is you're going to talk about some investments that have occurred overseas. You're going to raise some questions, I understand, about an $8 billion financing deal for Dubai with Citigroup, a $1 billion investment in India with JP Morgan, a $7 billion investment in China, something you just alluded to with Bank of America. Why are you looking into these investments? What is it that you're worried about?
Well, what we're looking into, quite candidly, is although these are global companies, these are American dollars. And when American dollars came in, they came in with the implied strings attached that they would not be used to pay off foreign loans, they would not be used for foreign investments. And Chairman Dennis Kucinich and Ranking Member Jordan, I think, have struck a nerve by realizing that these companies continue to do business as normal, but they did it with yours and my tax dollars.
Great point. Let me ask you this. You know, a lot of people are suggesting that the Treasury Secretary, in particular, Timothy Geithner, he hasn't been able to confirm any deputies, at least as of yet, and that he's frankly sort of hamstrung with the fact that he needs the proper staffing in order to accomplish some of the things that you will talk about in today's hearing. How is that impacting the approach, the execution to some of the things we've been talking about now for months?
Well, these missteps in getting new deputies has been a problem, I think it goes back to the fundamental problem of this was a relatively non-political organization under the previous administration. As you know, Henry Paulson, was a Democrat. So I think there was a rush to clean house that probably was premature, and now it's coming back to be a problem when new confirmations are difficult. When we're looking at a financial disaster the way we are, people who don't pay their taxes or who have any other kind of overhang from the financial meltdown are going to be harder to confirm. What I would say, and certainly Secretary Geithner has the ability, he can elevate the career professionals, if you will, the bureaucrats, to these positions and use them in ways that they haven't been used in the past. These are PhDs, these are people who have been working in government for their whole lives. So I think he does have some resources that he hasn't yet elevated because he's hoping to get his political appointments.
All right. Well, Congressman Issa, we will leave it there. We'll be watching the hearing today. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for focusing on this.
All right. Well, Congressman